Hey everyone, thanks for finding the podcast and taking time to listen. Ehnotherpodcast.com is where you can find everything to do with the podcast. Now, I'm on Twitter, Ehnother Podcast. You can just look it up, Ehnother Podcast. Thank you very much, and here is the show. Hello everyone, welcome to the podcast. I'm James, and with me is Aaron.
Aaron Boldry.
Aaron Boldry, you're going to give it all out there, right? You're going to give your last name too?
Oh yeah, why not?
That's perfect. So, been sitting down with different people. I have a plan for the future too. I asked, you've heard the podcast, and OJ, my buddy, I asked him, I said, I want to get a UFO hunter, and I want to interview him. You want to sit in on it? He's like, yeah. So, I don't if you have the same feeling, you could probably sit in on it as well if you want.
That may be something.
That may be something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know there's one in town.
Yeah.
So I would like to talk to him and just find out. And then I had another idea this morning, and I'll see if I can get it to go. I don't want to say what it is. I'll tell you after. So that way I don't. There's somebody I want to talk to in town, basically, and you'll know who it is right away. But I just need to see how I can go about doing it and getting him here, because I know he lives in town, so it'll work out perfect. Anyhow, Aaron. You and I went to college. Started in 98. Anyways, that's when I started. 98. So it's been a while because we graduated in 2001.
Yeah.
And actually, I think you graduated in 2001, but you didn't finish the whole semester, right?
No, that's right. Yeah, I didn't. The last semester, I'm actually missing one English credit still.
You could get that English credit.
Probably.
Yeah, because who's the teacher? She was. She taught English, and she was from another country. She always wore those leather pants.
Yeah, she's from Greece.
Yeah, she's from Greece, and I forget her last name. I know you used to like those leather pants.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So maybe you could just go back and see if she'll give you the credit. She might be a little swamp donkey now, but who knows?
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah. So we were taking mining engineering at a local college, and you started working for, back then it was Inco, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah. So I got my little Inco story, which is funny because we... was it second year we did Common Core?
Yeah, in the second year.
In the second year we did Common Core. So for a whole month we were underground. And we went and did some drilling and blasting and everything. And you had to pass all that drill test stuff. And they said it was Common Core, but it really wasn't Common Core.
No, it's nothing that you would actually do nowadays.
No. Well, I actually did that later on working at a gold mine up north.
Yeah.
I actually used jackleg, and they actually used stopers and everything else. It was... because it was narrow vein mining. It's so hard to get a jumbo in there, and a scoop tram and other stuff. But anyhow, I remember third year was a little bit different because we had a placement, and you took the third year, but then you got hired, right, by Inco. Yeah. There was a bunch of us in our class. It was 12 of us, and I think half the class got hired at Inco.
Yeah.
And then there was a certain number of us. I still remember Greg didn't, I didn't, and Rick didn't. I can't remember who else didn't, but I know there's about half the class went, or 6 of you anyways went and got hired. But my Inco story back then is I went for the drill. I did the aptitude test.
Yeah.
It was kind of funny because we all got the call to go do the aptitude test. We all did it at the same time.
Yeah.
Then I went and did the drill test. I passed that. I had an interview at Coleman. Is that in Lebec?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I had an interview there, and then a week later, I got a letter. I said, thank you for trying, but you're not kind of
Yeah.
So I was like, what the heck? So I went and talked to the girl there. Back then it was at the engineering building.
Jen Jenkins,
I think. I think that was her name, Jen Jenkins.
My memory's good, I guess.
Your memory's really good. I couldn't remember her name. Anyhow, I went in and I said, what's with this? So she looked at my file and she said, well, she told me, she goes, they feel like you're better suited for an engineering job. Working in the engineering office.
Yeah.
Said, oh, okay, because I took it as really bad, right?
Yeah.
So I said, how do I go about getting, engineering job? Well, you have to work underground, and you have to bid on those jobs. I'm like, hold on a second. You're telling me I'm better fitted for an engineering job. You're telling me, my mentality, what they saw, what they felt I was better suited for engineering, but I can't go work underground because they were like, yeah, no, he'd probably be happier in engineering. and yet I can't apply for that. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, that makes a lot of fucking sense.
Yeah.
Like, why not have like this? Because back then it was a little different. Like now you
totally
can.
Different.
Now I go to the now Valet owns Inco, which used to be CRVD Inco, and then it was whatever. Yeah. But I go to the webpage, and just if I wanted to look for a job on that page, it's near impossible on that page to look for a job.
Yeah.
You're like, careers? And then it gives you can have a career with Valet. Da, 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 da. And it's like, there's no current jobs.
No.
But if you go to Xstrata webpage, you can find them like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know what Valet has going on there.
I don't know. They're not user friendly. No, it's for pretty much everything, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I remember, I think back, am I going to test my memory? I think it would have been 2002. Did Inco go on strike?
In 2002 we went. 2003.
Yeah, it's 2003.
Went on strike there for 3 months.
Yeah, because I seen you. I was gone for a walk, and I remember seeing you near LaSalle Secondary, and I asked him how the strike was going and stuff. And I think you were operating a truck at the time, eh? Like haulage truck.
Yeah. I was on haulage at that time when we went on strike in 2003.
Yeah.
Yeah, that brings back memories. It was. It was pretty crazy. We had to go on strike to pay for our benefits, I guess. That's the way it was.
Yeah. Well, I've never been part of a union.
Yeah.
So every time I see these unions, I'm like, oh man, I don't want to ever be part of a union when I'm on my side, right? You're on a different side, right?
No, I can totally understand that. I think that it takes a lot to go on strike. It's something that you have to want, I guess. You have to want the end of it has to really want to be what something that you want. I mean, when they're saying that they're going to take away your benefits or something like that, and you're like, well, that's why I came to work here, is for benefits or pension or whatever the case is. Well, then you have that opportunity to go on strike, and I don't really see anything wrong with striking.
With striking, no. I was just.
I can see how non-union people think, well, why do these people go on strike? They're making X amount of dollars, and why would they go to work to making nothing to go on strike? And I don't really see. I can see where they're coming from that, but until you actually get in that kind of situation, if your boss was to tell you, we're gonna take away this and that and this, well, would you start looking for another job? I guess that's your other alternative when you're not unionized is, okay, well then you go look for another job, right?
Yeah.
But when you have a union, I guess you have that opportunity to, at that contract time, to say, well, no, we'll withdraw your labor,
and they lose millions,
almost
billions of dollars.
Both people lose.
Yeah, for sure.
You lose money, and they lose money, and
yeah.
But I mean, if it's for something that you agree with, then it's something that you feel strong for, then I would discourage anybody for not going on strike. If it's something that you want or believe in, then you should.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, see, for me, I've worked in the consulting field of engineering, and after I worked at a gold mine for 3.5 years, and then I decided to go into consultant engineering.
Yeah. And
the first place I worked at, I'm not going to say where it was, but I had like benefits and stuff, but I had to pay into my benefits kind of deal. So like I would say almost $300 of my salary a month went into paying for these benefits, right?
Yeah.
So, and I was happy. Yeah. They paid into my pension fully and stuff like that. But then in 2010, I got laid off.
Yeah.
So I didn't have anything. So you know what I mean? I got laid off, and it was like, okay, that's when everything went downhill for everyone, and a lot of people went, like Ballet went on strike, you guys went on strike, so a lot of people not working, the economy was down. But in the meantime, I found a job afterwards.
Yeah.
I think it was 2009 was the one I was laid off. In 2010, I found my job where I am now, and I have the same benefits that are on par with what I had there, but I only pay like $27 for dental a month, and everything like that extra like $275 is in my pocket, right? And my salary's good, and we're employee owned, And the only thing I can say from myself is I've never seen them take away stuff. It's only like my benefits got better, right? And then my pension is always like, okay, I contribute 5%, they contribute 5%. But it's still up to me, like if I want to go get RSPs and stuff like that, you know, or play in the market a little bit if I want, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But for me, seeing from my side, it's weird seeing a union. But on the other hand, when I think about the teachers' union in Ontario, them going on strike and seeing what they're fighting for, and knowing, because I've heard stories, I see how a union is actually good sometimes. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, definitely. No, unions are good, and it's and you know, I get a laugh because you see big businesses, they like GM, for example, they'll say, oh, you know, the unions are too strong, we can't make money because the unions are too strong. They got too much. Our pensions are too big. It costs us too much per vehicle to make to be competitive or whatnot. You know, but that's not really the problem that I see. Isn't the union? It's the problem is you make Hummers when gas is $1.30 a liter. You know what I mean, or whatever the case may be. You're not really servicing the market with something that's feasible for the everyday person. So it's not really the union that's the problem. It's kind of the mismanagement, because you can have a company that's unionized and it's super profitable, and you know, some companies don't really even have to be unionized because maybe their management is smart and they treat their employees well, and you know, there's a lot of reasons why you should or should not.
Yeah,
you know,
there was back when you guys were on strike, I was just thinking about different things when you were talking, and back when you guys were on strike, and I had mentioned it, I think a couple podcasts ago, about Michael Moore and the capitalism love story movie. Yeah. And you get to see a lot about how like businesses work, especially in the States, right?
Yeah.
Where they're taking out these like life insurance policies on their workers, and when they die, they're getting millions of dollars where the family's not getting anything.
No.
So I mean, that is like eye opening, right?
Yeah. No. That's one part of that. That's personally, I don't think that's right.
Yeah. No, it's not right. I mean, you have someone who's dedicating their life to your company, and basically your work or the stress level with your job is killing you, right?
Yeah.
So.
And they're just a number to some of those big companies, you know. So that's it's funny actually that I have a little story about that. My one of my good friends, I was the best man at his wedding. His wife works for a place here in town. You know, she's a dental hygienist, and her boss told them that they're going for training in Toronto. You know, and so to get ready, they got to go for training. Whatever, they're going to go down there. So the day or 2 days before they were supposed to go, he surprised them and told them, you know, we're flying down, whatever, I don't know if it was Porter or whatever, but we're flying down and we're going to the Madonna concert. There is no training. You know what I mean? So he brought his whole staff down to see Madonna. And like that's like...
I heard it was a bad concert, though.
Yeah, probably. It's not something I would want to see. You know, it's a little bit old for now, you know, but... But it was but that's like a non-union environment where your boss is treating your employees. You know, they might not have enough employees to be unionized under the law of Ontario or whatever it is. But I mean, in a case where you know you have a boss who appreciates their employees, it's a small private company. Like a dentist, I guess isn't a company. It's a company. You know,
it is a company.
So they're a small private business, and you know they're treating their employees, valuing their employees, paying them however much they pay them, but then giving them the perks and benefits that you won't get in some maybe larger multinational corporations or any larger companies like that.
But if you had a number of people, this is a question I have for you, because my wife works at Tim Hortons.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a lot of, I don't know, like I would say unfair things. And in a case like Tim Hortons, it would almost seem like they would benefit from a union. The workers.
Oh, definitely.
And she's told me before that there has been where someone wanted to try to start a union and they got fired.
Yeah.
So it's hard, but you could. What I'm trying to say is, if you had a group of people, like maybe not the one company location, there's like maybe 20 people. I don't even know if that's enough to start a union. I don't know the rules, but if you like this Tim Hortons, that Tim Hortons, this Tim Hortons, all of them, all the workers got together and said they wanted a union and they could start a union, they might benefit a little bit better from that because I notice a lot of Tim Hortons workers are like full-time workers. That's their job. It's not a part-time job, it's a full-time job. Yeah. But they're treated like crap.
Oh, yeah, probably. Definitely.
And paid like a little bit above minimum wage and expected to work, their 40 hours. And at the end of their 40 hours, they don't feel like they've accomplished anything. You know what I mean? Or they don't feel valued.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, in that case, like you could do like a Tim Hortons union, but it would have to be, maybe province-wide or something. Like, like a Cooper's, like you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. No, I think it would have to be more. It would have to be probably if it was the same owner of different Tim Hortons, you'd probably be able to get a union in multiple stores if the same owner owned multiple stores. But with that, I mean, it probably would definitely benefit them. I mean, they make a lot of money, and if they're treating their employees like crap, then that's kind of the route to go, is to unionize, gets a little bit of respect from your employer, and at the end of the day, there's the problem that we get to right there, right? The employer, their mismanagement, the way that they treat people is substandard for what we would think would be standard in Canada, and that's where the unions really are a benefit to society, that you get those bad employers and they take advantage of the laws or whatnot, and you get other employers that are good, but you get those ones that are bad, and you have to you have more of a voice when you're collective, and it's not about, raping the company or whatever. It's about, you want to be treated fair, you want to get paid an honest wage for the work you do, and, that's sometimes the only way to go about getting that is to be unionized,
Yeah.
So.
I mean, meanwhile, her boss owns two.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say
No.
her name or his name, but meanwhile, he's building a multi-million-dollar home around the corner, and he's paying for it with cash, basically, to get it built. And it's like, you treat everyone kind of like crap, that works for you. And I'll tell you a story after, because I know a little bit about his background. Yeah. But just to see where he came from and where he is now, and what he does to people. I mean, it's no surprise, but at the same token, you need to. There's other places, like, she has to work every single stat holiday, so she doesn't get, if it's a stat holiday, I'm here, and she doesn't get it off. No. But there's other Tim Hortons in town where the boss is like, yeah, you work 5 days a week, you get every weekend off. Students work the weekends, and you get every stat holiday off. So it's different everywhere, right? And it's just it's something has to be done. Something like Tim Hortons, maybe upper management says, this is what you do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Kind of deal. But, I can see, like I said, for me, personally, union, I don't really need one, but I can see how they're helpful. In the case of, the NHL right now, it's they make millions of dollars right now, and they're fighting for, I don't know what yet, more money, like the players.
Oh, so. Though, I totally, with that, it's a free market. The Americans, they talk about how they're a free market country. Free. The markets are free. The sky's the limit. If somebody wants to pay somebody $10 billion a game, well, the person that's paying the $10 billion a game should have their head checked. I would take it. You would take it.
Yeah.
I would take it. So I don't actually believe in salary caps for one of those reasons. Is that if somebody is an owner of something and he wants to pay you something, X amount of dollars, which is ridiculously high, well, I don't know. Who would say no? You know what I mean?
Well, there's two. They say the salary cap works to kind of make it even across the market.
Yeah.
So you look at the Major League Baseball, for instance.
Yeah. And
there's no salary cap there. People think there is, but there's none at all.
No.
There's no salary cap there. If A-Rod can make $250 million and then negotiate a contract for just a little bit more than $250 million, and the team pays it. And so you got the Yankees and the Red Sox up there with their high salaries, and you got a team like Florida who might be paying $23 million a year in salaries. Yeah. A-Rod is $27 million just for himself a year. the no, the no. What did you say that was?
Salary cap.
Salary cap. Thanks.
Yeah.
The no salary cap has worked well in baseball. People still go see baseball.
Yeah.
People pay millions, billions of dollars goes through Major League Baseball. On the other hand, you have like the NBA, who's always had well, not always, but they've had a salary cap for years, for a long time.
Yeah.
It serves well, but not as good as like it seems to serve the NHL as much over the past like 5 years that they've had it or whatever it is. Because like now you see a different Stanley Cup team, you see these players good on every team. The NBA is still kind of, I don't know why it's like that. It doesn't seem to serve well. The only other thing it serves well, the NFL. The NFL makes a lot of money, and they have a salary cap, and their players are rich, the owners are rich, the league is rich, and it seems to work the NFL knows how to do it right. So,
but if you look at the salary cap in another way too, this is the way I see it, is that you have the New York Rangers in the 90s when they had the highest paying roster in all of the NHL. They had I don't know what year it was. It was the year they didn't make the playoffs, and they had paid their budget was crazy. Everyone on that team was making multi-millions, and they paid everybody well. They tried to buy their way to the Stanley Cup, and they didn't even make the playoffs. So how, like they're. I don't know. It just feels that and that's mismanaged. So they have this huge hockey enterprise, and they're throwing all this money at this team to make it competitive, and they don't even make the playoffs. And then you have another team that doesn't have a big budget that can. So that's where it's like, well, salary cap. If you're an owner and you want to pay your players the X amount of money, there's no guarantee you're going to win. So that's really the. I don't see there's an issue with salary caps. I don't think you should be capped on your performance or whatever it is.
Yeah, if you want to, if I agree to that to an extent. Yeah. Because if you have a team like the Maple Leafs who could afford anything, really, but they never do.
No.
So and then you have little teams like Dallas back years ago where they had a couple stars and they ended up winning the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like players nowadays, I heard Adam Carolla say they play to make money. They don't play for pride. Nobody, not one person in all of professional sports in all of North America play for pride. Like they don't play to win that championship.
It's funny when you say that, because if you look at Matt Sundin as a Leaf, I'll always remember this against Philadelphia, and I think it was probably the last time they made the playoffs. It was overtime, game 6, and he was on like a 2-on-1, and he gave up the puck, and Philadelphia came back, and they scored. And where was Sundin? He was at center ice, not even back checking, nothing. You know what I mean? But you put him in a game that's Sweden against Canada. Well, they would have never got that goal because he would have been back right on the puck.
You probably wouldn't have dropped the puck out.
So there's, I can see some of them don't play for pride. They play for $1. But on the other hand, they're dedicating their life to one game, and not one game, but one sport, or one thing.
Right.
So, but if it, as a fan, we always have the option that we don't have to go watch them, right? And in Toronto, it's easy not to go watch when you're getting gouged for tickets.
Yeah, it's also hard to get tickets.
Yeah.
That's the other thing, right?
Yeah.
So, but I seen last year. Did you go to a Leafs game to watch the Flames?
No, I went to Ottawa.
Oh, you went to Ottawa.
Yeah,
okay,
Ottawa to watch the Calgary, Ottawa.
It's a lot easier to get in. Like if you really want to get into any hockey, like NHL hockey, you go to Ottawa.
Oh, guaranteed. It was super cheap compared. We were 3 rows from the glass, and we probably paid nosebleeding tickets out at the ACC.
Yeah.
And perfect, beautiful game.
Have you ever gone to a Raptors game at all?
No. We were talking about that last week, me and my wife. We want to check out a Raptors game, but I want to go courtside because I'm kind of a fan of basketball. I was growing up, but I think to get the whole experience where I'll be really involved in the game, I think courtside would be the way to go. But it's too expensive.
It's very expensive.
I think it's upward about $1,000 a ticket.
Yeah, or more.
Yeah.
Or more, depending where you want to sit, right?
Yeah.
So you might be able to get some good tickets in the lower bowl for $500.
Yeah, for $500.
Yeah, that's one ticket. So it's not it's not a pair yet. So,
yeah.
But I mean, if I were to go see a Raptors game, it would have to be lower bowl, just because I don't want to sit up.
No, exactly. I wouldn't want to sit up right in the bleachers there.
And I say that because back in 93, 94, summer of 94, before I went to high school, actually, I went down to Hamilton, and back then they had the World Championships of basketball.
Yeah.
It was in Hamilton in Toronto, and my uncle was like, "Hey, do you want to go to the game?" I was like, "Okay, cool." He's like, "Yeah, come with me." So he brings me. I'm like, "Well, how much is it?" He goes, "Don't worry, you can get it for free." So I was like, "Okay." Well, doesn't the guy put me to work working for Pizza, selling pizzas in the bleachers, eh? Like personal size?
Yeah.
So I was like, I made cash on the side. It was okay, but it's kind of, I don't like doing that kind of stuff. It's like embarrassing.
Yeah.
We were just walking down, pizza. But I got into all the games. I saw Team USA, and like I was like literally walking down in Cubs Coliseum. I got right down to the bottom level, and all I see is this big guy running towards the glass. This is Shaquille O'Neal. Okay, he's like, this one Shaq was awesome and good. Eh?
Yeah.
I watch him. I'm standing 25 feet away from like the backboard, the back of the net, and he runs up and he alley-oops himself up off the glass. Like he just throws it up off the glass, grabs it, and slam dunks it. And I'm sitting there like 25 feet away watching it, so I can see how courtside seats would be awesome.
Amazing,
right? Yeah. So, but it is, you could even pay more. Like if you want to sit right beside the team, you can pay about $4,000, I think.
Yeah, see,
that's like right beside the court.
Yeah, and that's crazy.
Yeah,
pay that much to
but
watch that.
You guys could always go see. I mean, it's not the same, but you guys could always go see Laurentian University's men's basketball game. They got a pretty good gym there.
Yeah.
Or you can go see. Like, there's so much. You can actually go see that for free almost.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like you can. Like right now, high school basketball starting up and all that. My daughter plays high school basketball. So her first game's on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And the past 2 seasons, like when she was in midget ball, they were undefeated in the city. And they won the city championship. Last year, they were undefeated in the city and for junior.
Yeah.
Won the city championship and won NASA. So now they're in seniors. It's going to be difficult now. Seniors are going to be different because a lot of good teams.
Yeah.
But now that that's starting up, that means that Laurentian is ramping up to their season. Cambridge College is ramping up to theirs. Cambridge, you can get into the games for free.
Yeah.
So you can just go watch a game in the gym. So.
Yeah, isn't it amazing, how in to get off topic, sorry, how in the States you go like NCAA games, or you go to Adler's, like 10,000-15,000 in a basketball game, or even like 80,000 in a football game for university. Yeah. Not even pro,
Even in high school, you get like 40,000, right?
Yeah, at high school, and here in Canada, where we're really big, even in hockey, we're really big sports fanatics, and you would go to see Laurentian play hockey, and it would be, you might as well have it at Cambridge Arena. That's how many people would go watch it. It should be. Yeah. We should have a. It's unfortunate that we don't have that base that would go watch something like that.
Well, that's what OJ and I were talking about 2 podcasts ago about the Spartans.
Yeah, I caught something about that.
And saying there's no, okay, maybe 25 people or 30 people show up.
Yeah.
But it's insanely cheap for the whole season to watch it. I think 2 years ago when they came back, it was $20 for 4 games.
Yeah.
So it was basically $5 a game.
Yeah.
You got the season pass, plus they were having the championship, not the championship game, the All-Star game here.
Yeah.
And that was included in there, so it was actually 5 games, and you could literally go see them for like $20 a season. You see all their home games.
Yeah.
And it's like 4 games. It's not like it's gonna break the bank.
No.
So
it's something to do in supporting local.
There's only one team here that benefits from all the sub-arena. They're like the Leafs. There's always sold out, and that's the Wolves.
Yeah.
And I read a story yesterday that I guess they're a little bit upset about the state of the arena.
Yeah.
This year.
Yeah. Well, they should build their own arena, maybe.
Is that what your stance is on it? Should the Wolves
buy maybe not the Wolves, but somebody should. We need a 10,000 seat arena so we can have a Memorial Cup. We need a conference center attached to it. We need a lot of things, boy. I'll tell you. that would be benefit this city, and even benefit the hockey and sports in Sudbury. You know, and it baffles me that we have this, we hold on to this. You know, there's memories in that building and whatnot, but I mean, they got to upgrade. You know, like even the Sioux's upgraded. You know, and they're a smaller city than Sudbury, and if it has to be privately done, then maybe it should be. But it's something that that should actually happen. We need something bigger. I mean, look how long Sudbury's been in the league, and we've never really. I think maybe we hosted one Memorial Cup in the 30s, if that. You know what I mean? Like, we should have a Memorial Cup. We've had competitive teams that, should, Paul DePietro years and that, where we should have been at the Memorial Cup and we didn't for whatever reason. Yeah. But we should one day have it, and I think that we limit ourselves in Sudbury by that. We have the best fans, the loudest arena by far. I'm sure there's times when I've been at hockey games, NHL games, and you don't. It's quieter in Maple Leaf Gardens or whatever, the ACC, than it is in the Sudbury Arena. You can't hear yourself talk.
Well, that's the thing. Like, you have at like the ACC, you have almost 20,000 people in the arena. At Sudbury Arena, you're fitting in 5, maybe. Yeah. And you get like this intense game feel. Yeah. And the whole city could benefit from it. You could have, because Laurentian University is starting up a hockey team. Where are they going to play? They're going to play at Countryside. Yeah. Right. Yeah. It's pretty bad when I heard that when I read the story, they said that the Wolves and the Greyhounds were thinking we're going to have to change. Like, they were getting ready to get off the ice at Sudbury Arena to go to Countryside to play the exhibition game. Yeah. This is what I read. And that's terrible.
Oh, that's sad.
And they took. I haven't been out there in a while, but they were adding another ice surface to Cambrian Arena. Yeah. Right? Yeah. That's Cambrian out on the south end?
Oh, no, Countryside.
Or Countryside.
Yeah, they have the 2 ice surfaces.
They added the other ice surface. So why didn't they get together with the owners of the Wolves, say, hey, pop us a couple, we'll put in a couple, we'll make it big, we'll get a grant from Ontario or whatever. Like, and we're going to, there's enough parking out there, let's make, they could charge for parking there for Wolves games, make money, take care of the lot and everything else, and they're going to make money off the concession stand, make a big enough rink over there, and because there's enough room, and have it there, and just add it out there. It's not like it's out of the way. I know they want to be centrally located. It's an extra 2 minutes to go down Pear Street.
No, I live in the South End, and that would be amazing if we had something like that there at Countryside. But no, I totally agree that we need a new arena, something bigger, something more modern. I mean, always renovating the same old arena because it has history or whatever, or if it's maybe cheaper in the short term as opposed to the long term. Whoever makes those decisions has to live by that. But then you get these problems that are happening now, right? Like, I went to go see Seinfeld there, and I had to sit with my head turned for however 2 hours to the side because I'm sitting in the stands and I'm watching Seinfeld. But I mean, if we had like something like a nice conference center and an amphitheater, that could fit 5,000, 3,000 to 5,000 people, where those acts could go there and dedicate our arena and have like a training facility in there as well. It would be beneficial to everything. Get the kids off the streets, put them in the arenas and stuff.
I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff you could do with the downtown arena. You could have it as like the city could take their time and fix it up, and they could have they could use it so like maybe Laurentian plays there, or set it up. Could you imagine? You take Laurentian. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna fix up the Sudbury Arena, and you'll be able to play your hockey games there. Same with Cambrian College, Boreal, play your hockey games there. You could also here, we'll make it even better for you. We're gonna have a court. You can play basketball there. So you could actually sell tickets for people to go watch basketball. Yeah. It would be perfect for that. Like Sudbury Arena would be perfect for that, where you set it up, basketball games, hockey games, all for college and university. It'd be, it would take a little bit of money to do. Maybe these schools like Laurentian University, they're not poor. No. And neither is Cambrian College or Boreal. They're not poor. No. So they could pool their money together and get this going, and then you get the Wolves in, like you said, a 10, 15,000 seat arena, which they would fill. They would still fill.
Oh, definitely.
So,
I think they would anyways. At certain times. Maybe not every game won't be filled, but come playoff time and come time when you need that place filled, it'll be filled.
Well, I've seen some games on TV when they're in Barrie, and it's like that arena sucks.
Yeah.
Like the atmosphere sucks.
Yeah.
But you go to like a Saturday night game in Sudbury or a Friday night game. There's nothing that compares to that. Like it's insane. It's almost like if you put it on the same feel as like the European football feel, right?
Yeah.
They're that intense. So, I think the city would benefit from a new arena. It's time. Like, the arena's got to be 60, 70 years old right now.
Definitely time.
So,
but then again, maybe it shouldn't be the government should lobby, the city government, municipal government should maybe try and lobby and get some private money in there as well, Put something together with some company that'll want to build an arena, put their name on it, whatever it is, It doesn't have to be the Sudbury community.
We have, there's $2 billion companies in Sudbury right now. I bet you back in the day, if you would have, OJ $1 now, because back in the day, but I bet you if you would have went to Inco or Falconbridge and said, hey, you want to pay for the rights to this building?
Yeah.
One of them would have jumped at it.
Oh, probably, most definitely.
You know what I mean? So it's just another way. I see a lot of stuff that Valet's doing I was at the theater watching Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh, a commercial from Valet in the theater? Well, this is weird. Went on for like 8 minutes. 8 minutes of clean air.
Yeah.
So, but you know what? In that 8 minutes, I went afterwards. I was like, I understand more what they're gonna do, right?
Yeah.
Because not everyone.
If they do it.
They're working on it right now.
Well,
so
we'll see.
Apparently, I'm not gonna tell you how I know they're working on it.
No, but it may go through.
Yeah.
Well, but then again, that's I don't know. They could, like, the private companies like that, if they wanted to help the community, that's a better way, I think. Yeah. Well, not them making our air clean. Of course, it's always better to have clean air.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's nice. It would be nice to have one of those places come in and build something state of the art that would benefit everybody as a whole. And if they wanted to be a major donator to something like that and put their name on it, well, that's all the better, right?
Yeah. When you say they might not do, is that because of the possibility of a sale?
Oh no. More along the lines of the possibility of their maybe their money allocation as like things like iron ore start dropping and some of their whatever that their base business is, because nickel isn't their base business, right?
No.
So whatever their base business is, I think it's iron ore. I think that it's pulling back a little bit in the markets, and they're trying to pull back. They just announced a hiring freeze company-wide, not Sudbury, just company-wide. You know?
So that's not just Sudbury. That's because I saw hiring freeze, and I thought
that's.
I thought it was just like Sudbury-wide, because your focus, like especially when you're in Sudbury and you're talking about mining, is kind of it's kind of like right in Sudbury. It's not it's not worldwide.
No.
But now with these two companies, Vale and Xstrata, you have to think outside of Sudbury.
Outside of Sudbury.
Yeah.
No. So. Yeah, it's interesting the way that they put stuff like that into places like Silver City and that, so the community could see. I remember being in Toronto in 2000. It was 2005, maybe 2004, and I'd seen a commercial on TV. We went to see a concert. I think it was a concert. We were somewhere in Toronto doing something, and get back to the hotel, and I turn on the TV, and you see an Inco commercial, like the nickel pellets and what Inco does with nickel, and I was thinking, wow, I've never seen that. Like in Sudbury, you never used to see commercials about Inco like to that extent.
No.
So it's interesting to see when another company, how they spend their PR. So.
Yeah, it's. I remember I seen something. I think it was maybe how it's made or something. They're talking about CDs. I didn't know there was nickel in CDs. Like compact discs.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
No,
there was nickel in those. I was like, really? I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I would have never known, right?
No.
So now all that stuff, like the majority. There's a lot of stuff that gets made. Like I'm pretty sure the ore comes from Sudbury.
Yeah.
So you have iron beams. You have all this stuff comes from nickel. So
yeah, it's got to be some from somewhere. Probably Sudbury.
Yeah. Like there's a lot of it that comes from Sudbury.
Yeah.
So, a friend of mine lives in Falconbridge.
Yeah.
And it was funny one day because we were outside. We were doing some siding, and he started to get upset. And I was like, the sulfur in the air.
Yeah.
In Falconbridge.
Oh, really? Eh?
Yeah. So because the smelter was going.
Yeah.
He gets on the phone. He calls the smelter. And he says, "Can taste sulfur in the air." Not even 5 minutes later, the smelter was shut down.
Yeah.
And I went, "What happened here?" He's like, back in the 70s, there used to be a town, or early mid 60s to early 70s, there was a town, Happy Valley. Did you ever hear about Happy Valley? No. So Falconbridge is right here, and Happy Valley is like right here, and it's still on the map. Like I can show you where it is.
Yeah.
But basically, what happened was a lot of people there got poisoned from Falconbridge back in the day.
Oh, really? Yeah.
So what they did was they started noticing like people getting sick and stuff like that. So there was a contract that was signed between the city of Falconbridge and Falconbridge, even though Falconbridge owned Falconbridge at the time. That's why it's called Falconbridge.
Yeah.
They signed a thing, and it always has to be in place that if the wind is blowing in a south direction, which is towards the town, they have to stop the smelter.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they have to stop it.
Yeah.
So like that's why I always wondered why you never like. It seems like the Falconbridge smelter never runs, and it's because the wind direction might be facing the town.
Yeah.
So I said to him, I said, yeah, that would never work in town. Could you imagine calling the smelter the big super stack?
Yeah.
That's why they built it so big,
yeah.
so it didn't happen as often. Like
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought if you didn't know that, I thought you would have enjoyed to know that. They can, someone in town, you can literally, if you taste it, you can call and say, yeah, it's blowing
really?
right my way. Yeah.
I got a buddy who's something to do with the environmental at Falconbridge or Extrata, whatever.
Yeah.
At the smelter there.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. So they close it, and the workers walk the street
with the
take a truck.
Take the readings.
Take a truck and make sure that it's okay. It's not there anymore. It's not selling in town. Yeah.
That's crazy. Eh?
Yeah.
Well, that's good though, because there's a high cancer rate in Sudbury, and I'm sure it does. That's probably a major reason why.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Like when you that chromite smelter will be starting up.
Yeah.
So hopefully they build it up big enough. I mean, it's out in the middle of nowhere, anyways.
Yeah.
But that's why I think Extrata sends a lot of their ore away.
Yeah.
To get processed, which they really miss out on processing the ore here in town, maybe as much as Valet or whatever, right? So because Valet can just go all the time. And actually, I thought it was only the one super stack that worked. Like for the longest time, I never saw the other one. Through by South Mine.
Yeah, the nickel at the nickel. I never seen that until earlier, a couple of years too. I never noticed that one going. Past maybe 3-4 years.
Yeah, I didn't even think it operated anymore, but apparently it does.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, whatever.
Yeah.
That's kind of neat. People don't understand, like, if they hear this and they think it's super stack, you have to go online to see how big this thing is.
Oh, yeah.
It's 1,200 feet high.
Yeah.
It's huge.
I think it's bigger than the Sears Tower in Chicago. I can't remember how that... It was, at one point, it was the largest freestanding monument in the world, right?
Yeah, the CN Tower is taller than it.
Yeah, but that's just because of the aerial and the antenna.
It is, if I remember correctly, I'm confident in saying it's the biggest smokestack in the world.
Yeah, it's the second biggest now. There's one.
Second
in Russia they have one that's bigger. But yeah, for a long time, until like the mid 2000s.
Oh, okay. So
it's fairly newer. Yeah.
There's mining is a big part of this town, and I remember I was talking to a guy when I was working for the other company I worked for. He was from Russia.
Yeah.
And there's this open pit mine in Russia that literally you can't fly a helicopter over the mine because the air pressure changes because the open pit is so deep that if the helicopter were to fly over it, it would drop like hundreds of feet.
Oh, really?
Because because the air pressure is different. Helicopters, I've learned, are really dependent on the air pressure. So you can't fly a helicopter over top of the open pit.
Really?
In Russia, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I knew that.
Yeah. My buddy at work, Rock, he was telling me tons of stories about helicopters.
Yeah.
He used to work in BC and doing his environmental stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
And he'd say the helicopter would pick them up, and it would be like the guy would be like, okay, we can't take that stuff. We'll come back for it, and it would be like load up a couple of people and be taking off and be flying like 5 feet over top of the ocean because the air pressure wasn't thick enough, and then all of a sudden just pick up and just shoot up in the air like
Really?
20 feet because the air pressure was perfect for the helicopter.
Yeah.
So I learned that they needed proper air pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I got a buddy going to Las Vegas in the New Year, or not in the New Year, in October, and they're going to be taking a helicopter ride through the Grand Canyon. And that's pretty.
Yeah. So you can tell us good. Okay. Helicopters are pretty cool. I've been in planes, but never helicopter. I would like.
No, I've never been in a helicopter. Yeah. It would be fun. One day. I'd like to go and do something in a helicopter.
Yeah. Have you been in a private jet yet?
No.
No?
No.
Those things are fucking fast.
Yeah, eh?
Yeah, see them. I see them take off from if I'm in Falconbridge with my buddy's house.
Yeah.
And it'd be like, because you can tell when like the big planes come in because it flies right over the city.
Yeah.
Then you'll hear a jet and you'll look up and it's just whoosh.
Really?
Gone. Oh yeah, you got private jets that go in there once in a while.
Yeah.
I know when I worked in Wawa, the big wigs from the mine would come up on a private jet.
Yeah.
From Toronto.
Yeah.
And it would take, and this is from Wawa, it would take 35 minutes from Wawa to Toronto. Just going.
Yeah, eh?
Yeah, in a private jet.
No,
so
yeah, they're nice. I know a friend of mine there who works for another one of the companies there in town. Well, he sells mining supplies, and one of his bonuses were at Christmas time. They flew him and his wife from here to Pittsburgh to go watch a Pittsburgh Penguins game in the box, and that was all done in a private jet. So that's
wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's insane.
That is,
yeah, I would like that.
Yeah.
Private jet. Well, I've been on jumbo jets, but it's not.
Yeah, no.
It's not the same.
Yeah.
So it's like I went up to Nova Scotia once, and went up to Saskatoon once.
Yeah.
So flying on those big planes, but flying. When I got to Saskatoon, I was going to work for this company.
Yeah.
Through the engineering company I was working for, and I took this contracting flight from. It was like they were specifically contracted to fly to the mine.
Yeah.
This company.
Is it in Cigar Lake or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't want to say because
Oh yeah, okay.
whatever.
No.
But anyhow, taking off, it was fine. We're in these older planes,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're gonna make a stop here in this town and pick up some people. So okay, whatever. When you can feel like,
Oh, yeah.
you can feel like if you're like a little this way, a little that way, you're kind of leaning or whatever else. So I'm like, this doesn't feel right. Like, well, when we landed on the runway, we landed on the back left wheel first.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then slammed down, and then the brakes on, and I was like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna die!"
Yeah.
Like this, just insane. Yeah, it was not the best ride I've ever had.
No.
And then I used to be afraid of Air Canada all the time. I was like, "Oh my god!"
Really?
After that,
Yeah.
No, it's not like that.
No.
I don't want to say the company that it was, but
No.
it scared the shit out of me.
Yeah. No, we had my craziest airline experience was flying from Vegas to to Toronto, and we flew over a tornado, and we flew in the proximity of where the tornado was because we were watching on. It has live TV. This airline company. So
Oh yeah.
There's only a couple of them that have it, but
Wow.
it ended up we were watching this live TV because we're on the red eye, and I'm watching it, and there was news reports of like planes that went down, just little planes, Cessnas or whatever. A couple of planes crashed because of the tornado, and it was so rough. I'll tell you, boy, I wanted to get off that plane. Like even the whole way there, the stewardess never got out of her chair either.
Really?
Like, the seatbelt sign was on the whole way from say, I guess you're flying around Colorado, from say Colorado to closer to Toronto, there was no getting out of the seat. It was crazy. It was so much turbulence.
So everyone's shitting their pants and can't leave the seat.
Yeah.
How many finger marks you leave in the?
Oh, enough.
Yeah.
Right? Oh yeah. That time I got nervous. You could watch the wings flap on the plane.
Really?
Oh yeah. I was like, oh my god, this is crazy.
They didn't try to avoid it as much as possible.
No, I think that's the problem when you don't like. I don't. I used to really not advocate for Air Canada, but now I've flown with them a few times. They changed their routes if they got bad turbulence. In this company is another big company, but I guess they didn't want to change their route, and boy, oh boy, it was rough. Yeah.
I want to plan a trip with my wife and kids next year.
Yeah. Go
down to Punta Cana or something.
Yeah.
Is that Mexico?
I think so. Yeah.
I don't want to go to Mexico. I want to go somewhere nice.
Yeah.
But not Mexico.
No, I know.
And she's like, I just don't know if I can fly. So I was like, ride him in a car.
Yeah.
So she's not listening to that part of the podcast where you're talking about flying over a tornado.
Yeah, no, and I've flown lots. It's the best way to travel, especially when you get used to it. There, I love it. Yeah. We went to Mexico, and I know what you mean. How it's not a nice place sometimes. We were in Playa del Carmen, and we were at a restaurant, and they had the guy pumping the toilet, and the hose was coming right underneath our table. Oh, it was just pumping, and you could see it, and they were like, "Holy shit, man! This is."
In case you can listen to that part of the podcast.
Yeah. I wouldn't don't go to Mexico.
Yeah, because I think her cousin got married there. Right?
Yeah.
So she's like, "Oh, it's like so beautiful and stuff." But people are getting shot in Mexico all the time.
I don't want to be that for Canada and Mexico. I don't understand. Maybe there's stuff that's going on that we don't know about because normally countries don't attack us. It seems like in Mexico they're attacking Canadians, and it's so I don't know what's going on there.
Well, part of
political.
Yeah, part of it I think has to do with I know some people from the U.S. and when they go on trips, they tell them to sew like a Canadian flag on their stuff, and so that they're treated better. Yeah. It's like, seriously, you're making us seem like assholes then.
No. Yeah, no, you know what? It's funny because when I went to France, I was in Paris with my wife on our honeymoon, and we had an LA Dodgers hat on, and I got treated like shit. And we were saying, how come these people are treating us like this? Like this is crazy. Like we got treated badly. They hated us for some reason. Whatever we did, it was like we got attitude. They were giving us wrong directions. The cabbie took us for a ride. It was crazy. And then like 3 days in, I took off my LA Dodgers hat one day, and we went out, and it was like totally different atmosphere when the people were around. Yeah, it's crazy. It is. You don't realize it, and it was just by chance that I didn't have my hat on that day, and the people treated us better for the rest of the time that we were there.
Yeah.
But because someone came up to me and said, "Oh, you're from Los Angeles." I'm like, "No, I'm from Canada," and they just kind of looked at me all funny. Why are you wearing that hat? I'm like, "Oh, I'm on the sports team." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But honestly, I think they all thought that we were from LA and that we were from the United States, and that they don't treat us. They didn't treat us good at all. It was really, they had an arrogance to them when they were dealing with us.
But it was France after all. So.
But it's, when you're there, it sucks. I didn't really.
Yeah.
It was nice, but not really.
Yeah, that's the one thing. I don't think that like over there it's not the same. Like you would never if you lived in France, it's not like someone there is gonna be wearing. If there's somebody wearing a Manchester United hat or like shirt, I don't think they have hats, but shirt, then they'll be like, oh, he must be from England.
Yeah.
So like he must be from Manchester because there's no way that they're not going to wear it, right?
Yeah.
So like this past summer we went down to Wonderland with the youngest daughter and a bunch of her friends for her like 16th birthday.
Yeah.
One kid is from the UK and he's living in Canada. He loves Canada. Like he was like, oh man, you don't understand what it's like because everyone's like, I want to go to the UK. He's like, no, you don't.
Yeah.
Like you don't. Like it's not nice and stuff like that. But anyhow. I was joking around with him a little bit because he's wearing a Liverpool sweater. I said, I don't know if I can let you ride my van, Connor.
Yeah.
He's like, why? You're wearing an ugly shirt. So you should be like a Manchester United fan. They knew right away I was just ribbing him, eh?
Yeah.
So it's just like, they don't have that same kind of thing. Like, I like the Yankees and, the New England Patriots and like San Antonio Spurs. And I'm not anywhere near those teams.
No.
There's a different mentality over here than there, but I can see how that would be. If I go on a trip, I'll remember not to bring any hats.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Except for like
maybe
I have to
Canada.
put something on this.
Yeah. And then, well, you never know how they'll treat us now the way that we are in the world, but who knows?
So, we talked about how we took mining in your...
that got a little off topic.
That's all right. That's all right. We talked about unions and stuff, but also in your spare time, because I thought you were just doing this full-time in your other business. I didn't know you were pulling two duties.
Yeah.
Being a hoistman at Valet, and then you're a real estate agent.
Yeah.
So how does that work with the family life? Is that a little busy and hectic?
It gets busy at times. There's times where it gets insane in certain parts of the year, but then other parts of the year, it's a little bit slower, and it makes up for the times when we're super busy, right?
So do you primarily work out of your house, or do you have an office?
I had an office, and I didn't really see the benefit for myself to it. Well, I did, but I didn't, and just the distance away from my house, being where I live to where the office is located, I felt that it would be best if I just stuck close to where I live, because it's nicer to be at home than somewhere else.
Because then you can be at home, and if you got something to do with the family.
Yeah, I can do that. Computer-wise, I can do all my paperwork. I have to do on the computer at home. I don't have to go to the office, and it makes it a lot easier. It makes it more convenient. The reason I do it is to be able to spend more time with my family.
Yeah.
As funny as that sounds, that I work 2 jobs to spend more time with my family. But no, there's definitely, if I have to leave the house to do something, to go and write something, when I could just do it at my house, and that's totally not waiting across town.
Yeah.
There's all the benefit there is good.
So are you working shift work at Valet, and then?
Yeah, I work 5 days on, 5 days off, 5 nights on, 5 days off.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
So at least you know your schedule.
Yeah, and it's totally. I'm not underground anymore, so thank God. And it's I have enough time that on my days off, everything can come into place with cell phones. Cell phones and the way they are now are so handy with email and text and everything. It's crazy. It's awesome. You can do anything. You can be anywhere. You can do anything.
Yeah, absolutely.
It totally. It's awesome. Like we deal some offers through email. It doesn't matter where I am. I got email on my phone.
So if you're a day shift at Valet, beep. Okay.
Could look, and that could happen.
Yeah. I mean, not really. It's saying it's on your
possibility.
On your break,
on lunch,
on coffee break,
whatever it is. You get the opportunity to do whatever you have to do.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's a free country. You can work 10 jobs if you want. I mean,
well, that's
Canada.
Going
right?
back to that capitalism movie. Right,
Yeah.
That's in there where the people are working multiple jobs, right?
Yeah.
But mainly to pay off student loans and stuff like that. But I mean,
I do it not for fun, but for fun. Because it's there's things I want in life, and there's anything can happen with any job, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of have to have a backup, I think, to be able to. And if something does happen, you can be able to live your lifestyle the way you want, right?
Right.
And people work few jobs to pay off school loans or whatever. Well, they may have to, and that's unfortunate. But if you want to, at least if you have the opportunity to, then it's good.
Yeah. My second job, if I could be a second job, it would actually be like a radio.
Yeah. Well, there you go. See,
jockey,
that's
right?
what I mean.
That would be awesome. Like not Howard Stern material, but someone close where I can make millions of dollars.
Howard Stern's fun. I used to watch that. I used to listen to that on satellite radio all the time.
If you want a good radio station to listen to,
Yeah.
and depending what time you're up or whatever, but usually starts around 6 o'clock in the morning. There's I'll tell you the app later, but you can listen to The Edge in Toronto if you ever listen to that radio station.
Yeah, probably driving through Toronto.
You have to listen to it in the morning.
Yeah.
There's a show from 6 to 10.
Yeah.
It's called the Dean Blundell Show.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely when I started listening to I listen to podcasts mostly music I'll get to after if I read on a podcast. My buddy's like, you have to listen to this. He's laughing so hard at work. Eh?
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, whatever. I gave it a try, and it was at first it was like, oh, it sounds so Canadian. But then after a while, it's just yeah, this is really good, and it's probably the better one out of anyone that I listen to.
Yeah.
It's so funny. I listen to it live now because you can listen to it with the app. There's an app for it.
Yeah.
And it's there's no radio stations like that in Sudbury, but it would be awesome to be a radio disc jockey like that. Like it would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Do you listen to? You said you listen to podcasts. Joe Rogan has a podcast.
You know what? He's been on, like, he would talk like Adam Carolla.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. Like, I primarily listen to Adam Carolla, Kevin Smith stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
I will listen to something and give it a try for a while. And if I don't like it, I'll. And Joe Rogan was one of those ones where he's good to handle, like, in an interview with Adam Carolla, but when he's by himself, I just don't like. It's all right, but it's the same stuff all the time.
Yeah.
Like with Adam Carolla, he's always complaining about stuff. It's funny, but he'll have different guests on every day and talk to people. I don't know. I didn't find Joe Rogan kept my attention that much. And if I open my iTunes, I'll show you. Here's all my podcasts, including my own that I have in here. So I have all these that I listen to.
Yeah.
This one I don't listen to anymore just because I happen to listen to it live most times. So, but there's at least there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 19, 20, or 16, 17. Sorry. So there's 17 on there that I listen to. And some of them are like Adam Carolla's multiple times a week, like 5 days a week. Dean Blundell's 5 times a week, and some of these other ones are like once a week. Yeah. So, and now with the NFL season in full ramp up, I'm like listening to other podcasts. So stuff like where Joe Rogan talks for 3 hours. Yeah, it's just
too much.
It's way too much for me.
Yeah. No, that's the way it is.
Yeah. So getting on to the real estate stuff.
Yeah.
The market out there, because I always hear stuff about the market, like the market's going to crash, it's getting high, or whatever. Like, I don't understand the market myself, because as you see, I currently live in an apartment building.
Yeah.
But I want to know more about it. So, like the market, when they talk about the market, how do you see the market, and what do you think?
I see it as it's probably your safest investment in the world. Because I mean, it's when you look at the real estate market, I would rather put money in real estate and have something at the end of the day than put it into the stock market and have a piece of paper that could be worthless. I mean, a house could be worthless at the end of the day in one day. Probably will never happen, but you still have something there, something that somebody needs. It's a commodity, right?
Yeah, you have the land,
or and they don't make any more land. They can't, So
yeah.
And the real estate market itself, I think it's really strong in Sudbury right now, and I can see it probably weathering any downturns. I mean, it didn't really turn down when when we were on strike for over a year. I mean, maybe some people lost their houses and that, but it didn't crash. The economy didn't crash in Sudbury as predicted by a lot of other people. I think the housing prices, you may see a little bit of an adjustment if interest rates go up. If interest rates do go up, I would think that you'll see an adjustment in prices to reflect that, because it'll reflect affordability, right? Because we're in a debt-based economy right now. And other than that, though, I mean, it's probably the most solid investment somebody can make in their entire life, and it's something that I encourage everybody always to consider. Yeah.
So back in like 2009, in the States, the housing market went and it kind of crashed and stuff like that, and then the economy tanked.
Yeah.
How are those two linked together, and like how does that?
Well, you see, you have in the United States, it was totally different. You have these different types of mortgages that the government was allowing. Where you have I don't necessarily understand the type of mortgage. They had mortgages there and different rules there than what we have in Canada. And in Canada, it's a lot more strict, government regulated, and there's a lot less possibility of that happening in Canada.
Is it because they had this like fake money applied to fake places and fake places, but in real places?
No, you know what? The Federal Reserve has a lot to do with what happened in the United States. But I mean, some places in the United States they can't even check the chain of title of a house or land, because it's so they bunched them together and sold them in bunches, knowing that they gave too many people too much money that they knew they couldn't afford, and at the end of the day, the people took the money because they didn't have any self-control. I mean, if a bank came to you and said, "We'll give you this money that you make $2,000 a month. We'll give you this nice $600,000-$700,000 house. We'll charge you $500-$600 for the first 18 months of the mortgage, and after the first 18 months, it's going to be $2,700 a month. You know, but people were like, okay, thinking that within the 18 months they'll be able to sell it, make the money off of it, move somewhere else. You know, and then you have it started off that way, and people were flipping houses and making money, and then all of a sudden they got so big and so fast that when someone's stuck into an 18-month mortgage, 18 months low, and then it goes to triple, your mortgage interest rate is tripling, and after the end of the 18 months, and you're going to have your payments are skyrocketing, and the value of real estate is dropping because of the previous 18 months before that, people were in the same scam that the government knew was going to happen, or the housing people knew that was going to happen. You know, then everything, then you can't sell it, you owe more than what you can, and there's so many people that happened to that. That's why they crashed the economy. You know, everybody just kind of moving out of their homes. So that's where here in Canada we have rules. You know, you need a certain amount of money down. Every mortgage in Canada under, I believe it's, or in Ontario, under 20% is backed by an insurance. You know, that you put less than 20% down, right? It's insured. The banks are insured through the insurance company, CMHC or whatever the insurance companies are.
Yeah, so it's good. Like if you had 20% to pop down on a house, so if it was like, if it was a $200,000 house, you need $40,000 down, basically, right?
Yeah.
So, but if you, is that right? Yeah, that's right. Yeah. But if, and then you wouldn't need the CMHC or whatever it is, right?
Right.
So that's the way I understand it. But they put some law, like they just changed the rules to it. So what's the minimum down that you need for a house? Right now in Canada, is it 5 or is it 10? Because I heard 10.
See, there's all different types. It depends on your credit. I know I have a mortgage broker who still does no money down. I sold the house about 3 months ago now, and they did no money down. You know, and no money down, but their credit score was, perfect.
Yeah.
And they were able to go. Then it was done by a major bank in Canada, but through the mortgage broker, an independent mortgage broker, not a mortgage broker. If you went to that bank and said you want to go no money down, they would say no. But because you go through the mortgage broker for some reason, they were allowed to do it. CMHC or whatever the insurance company, I don't know if it was CMHC, so you can't quote me on that. But I mean, one of the insurance companies that are insuring the mortgage had no money down. Their credit score was good. Their interest rate is higher, so they did get a higher interest rate.
But it's not like it's like 20%.
No, it's like
5,
no, not even.
4,
it's like
4
maybe 4 1/4, instead of 3.5. You know, it pays. They end up paying their down payment through the interest eventually during the 5 years, right?
Yeah. Because like I keep trying to convince my wife, okay, like we need to get a house.
Yeah.
I want to buy a house. I want to own my own house with you. I want to, do that.
Yeah.
So it's just she's afraid like that it's not doable, and like we already went to the bank. Yeah, it's doable. You just gotta have like this down, and and then we can do something like that, and they like show us you can actually, with the money that you guys make, you can afford this much.
Yeah,
she was surprised.
Yeah.
So 1 second, I'm gonna pause.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is. Okay, sorry for the pause. It worked out good. I had to take a phone call, and Aaron had to relieve himself in the washroom. Yeah, in the washroom. But no, I keep trying to convince her, like, we need to buy a house, and like they told her this is what you can afford. She's so afraid of the cost. Like we were looking at a townhouse recently, and the rent for it was about $800.
Yeah,
and then we had utilities on top of that, so it puts it at $1,000, and you can do that with a mortgage, easy.
Oh yeah.
So it's like the same thing.
Right.
The only difference is if something breaks, you have to fix it, but
it's yours at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Right? And at the end of the long day.
The long day, yeah.
But it is yours, and it's the best to own. I've owned a house since I was 22 years old. The first thing I bought was a house, and I think it's the best thing to do. Is definitely, why would you give somebody else? Why would you pay somebody else's house off? If you look at it that way, you're paying somebody else's house off, or giving somebody an income. Like by paying them to live in their house.
Yeah.
You know, so I totally think that buying there's little risk. I mean, if you can manage money a little bit, it depends how much you want to manage money. I mean, you can go extend yourself to get something that you can't afford, but you can manage your money. But or you could get something, you know, affordable, which is becoming less and less available. You know, because the market is going up. But it's totally. I can't see. I've never rented, so I can never see why somebody would rent if they could buy a house.
Yeah, yeah. Like I would like to. There's just certain fears, like that are there.
No, and it's
not for myself. But
no, and you know, it's you just gotta you gotta look at as life wise, right? You look at it and you say, well, why am I paying for somebody else? You know, and you know, and over 20 years, that's been your best investment has been a house over the past 100 years. If you look at the housing market compared to the stock market, you know, your housing market's gone up. It's, you know, once you sell it, you have you have a lot of money for retirement or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Like eventually in the future, if you decide to sell it or you keep it, whatever you do, you know.
Or if you keep it and live there as long as you can, and if you have to be put in a home later on, or you die, you have something to give to your kids after that. You know,
that's worth something. You know,
you say, okay, they have it, but they have to split it. They don't, you know, no one owns it. Like they can sell it. And
the interest rates right now are so low that we'll never in our lifetime be able to buy a house this cheaply ever again.
Yeah,
considering with like the amount of debt that we carry or whatever, you know, we'll never be able to get a house this by paying this less interest. You know, the interest rates are always gonna go up, obviously, because they can't. There's hardly any more room for them to go down.
Yeah,
you know, so in this little block of our lifetime, we're never going to be able to afford to buy a house that we can now. Yeah, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, it does. So if someone new is going to look at a house, what would you recommend? You recommend a down payment, a little bit of play money, just in case something happens.
Well, it all depends on what they want. Everything's personal, right? Because I could kind of to recommend somebody that I would recommend them buying a duplex, you know, where they rent out one side or bottom or basement or whatever, where they would rent that out and it covers part of their carrying costs of that house, you know, and live on one side or live upstairs or downstairs and have it so, you know, part of your house is being utilized as an investment, and it's costing you less money. It's costing you're getting write-offs through the government, part of your heat, your hydro, everything. You know what I mean? So that's the smart way. If I could go back and do things over, I would have definitely. My first house would have been an investment property. It wouldn't have been a single-family house.
Yeah. If you get the duplex, then you could.
I mean, the part of owning your own home is it's your own land. You don't have any neighbors to deal with, anything to worry about. You know, but smart-wise, what I would say is always an investment property. If people don't want an investment property, then I'd say that your single-family house is the way to go.
Yeah. There's a property in town, well, more in the valley. For the longest time, we go to see my sister-in-law.
Yeah. On
the way there, it's like for sale. I just noticed the other day when we went out there that the real estate agent has changed. Like after all this time, like it's still for sale, but by somebody else. I'm like, wow, why can't they sell it? Like looks like a nice, you know, it's a nice big property, but maybe it's too expensive.
You know, like there's sometimes people are asking too much. I mean, you can ask whatever you want, right? Mm-hmm. That's the way it is, and sometimes some people aren't realistic about what they have.
Yeah,
you know,
I've seen a couple of my friends get kind of not screwed over, like they had a house in mind, but then someone comes in with no clauses.
Yeah, that happens once in a while. Like, it all depends on. There's certain situations where some people they've already sold their house, they don't have any debt, they have the money, they can come in and pay cash or whatever. That's very rare. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's always the more clauses you have, and if you're in competition with somebody else to buy a house, it's always harder for you to buy that house. house if someone else is in competition with you and they have less conditions, right?
Yeah.
But I'd always say that you always need your financing, insurance, inspection clauses in there.
Yeah.
You always need. You never know something you need.
Yeah, that's the one thing. Like, you get a good, reputable house inspector to make sure, like, you know, to be honest with you and tell you that whether the house is good or not. Like, you know what I mean?
And I've me personally, I bought houses without a home inspection because I know that this is the house I want, and it's there's even if the home inspector came in here and said you're going to need some work on this and that, it really wouldn't have deterred my my way of thinking that I needed that house or that I wanted that one or whatever it was. So for some people, I'd say definitely get a home inspector. I don't. Some other agents will recommend home inspectors. I don't. So they recommend like certain ones. Not I always recommend a home inspection, but I never recommend I have a single home inspector. This is not that's not my business. I'm not a home inspector. So I mean, and the worst thing I would want is one of my clients saying, you know what, Aaron, you told me that this home inspector was good, and after he did the home inspection, this and this and this happened, and you know then it looks bad on me. So it's like, you know what, I'd like to help you be able to tell you need one, yeah, but I don't want to be the one to give you a home inspector and then all of a sudden everything goes wrong. You know.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. My grandfather used to be a real estate agent. Well, he's long past now, but he used to be a real estate agent, and so he knew all the stuff.
Yeah, it's a really exciting business. You know, it's really competitive, really cutthroat, but it's really exciting. You know, you get to meet people who are buying for the first time. They're happy. They're like excited. You know, it's their biggest investment that they're ever going to make. And then you sometimes you deal with people who are you know, seasoned. Again.
Pause again. Sorry, guys. Okay, we're back again. Second pause. Yeah, so we're talking about that.
Yeah, so anyways, there's seasoned investors out there, you know, it's nice to work with them as well. You get to see where they're thinking and why they're accumulating property and stuff like that, and I think it's a really fun business to be into.
How is it possible? This is the one question I have. If you flip a house, how is it possible to make money off of it? It's not like you're paying off the whole mortgage or whatever. Like you get a mortgage, you flip it. I don't understand that stuff.
You buy a house, right? You get a mortgage for however long your term is for a certain amount of money. You buy a property that means whatever amount of work, X amount of work to it. You know, you do that X amount of work to it, and it brings the value of the property up to certain things you do add more value than what it costs to do it, right? Because people don't want to do the work.
Yeah.
So they'd rather come into a house that's completely remodeled than to buy a house that needs to be remodeled and remodel it, right? So then they pay more for the house, not than what it's worth, but they pay more than what it costs to reproduce, you know?
Yeah.
And then they buy it, and then you pay the bank off your money, and you move on to the next one or whatever it is.
So you're selling it for more and then taking the difference between the deal?
Yeah. You pay your whatever it cost to fix it, and then you make your money that way, right?
Yeah, because I always see, like, behind where I live, so it seems like somebody lives in a place for, like, I don't know, 6 months, maybe a year, and then it's for sale again.
Yeah.
It's like, well, what did they do here? Like, they living there for just
they made money in that year on the appreciation of the house, right?
Yeah.
That's where, like me personally, that I bought a house. My first house I spent was like $100,000, and you know, and then I waited a year and a half, 2 years, sold it, you know, then when the market went up, and then my next house I lived in there for about 3 or 4 years. You know, the market went up, and you just keep selling and buying, and then you're making money out of nothing, right?
Isn't it annoying to move all the time? No.
When you're now, I have a family, and it would be it would be so annoying, right? Yeah. I wouldn't want to do it every couple of years or whatever. It's not like nothing I don't do now. But when you're single, I mean, why not?
Yeah.
You know, you just get some movers, pack everything up, and you go on to your next
venture.
Next destination, you know.
And back in the day when you were younger, that might have worked well for you, eh? With the ladies.
Yeah. Oh,
they didn't know where you lived.
No, that had nothing to do with that.
No, okay.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. Real estate is one of those things where you could, live. I have an uncle who lived in the house for a long time. My grandfather lived in a trailer for a long time, like a trailer home. He loved it. Like, it's really. He lives in a trailer park. It sounds funny, but it's not like down in the States trailer park.
No.
But and like my grandfather, or on my dad's side, he bought a house. He expanded it. He built into the basement and lived there for before my dad was born, and my grandmother's still living there to this day.
Yeah.
On this, are you leaving Garson after? Like when you leave, going to past Sudbury?
Yeah.
Oh, you know where the Cedar Green Golf Course is?
Yeah.
Well, the first house, the blue one, you might have seen it if you're conscious about it. It's on the right hand side, like on
Cedar
Car
Green
Street.
Drive, or
on
Street.
Car Street.
Yeah.
That blue house, that's my grandfather's house, and it's actually they've been told it's a commercial lot. It actually is a commercial lot.
Yeah.
And
so that sucks.
Well,
so that pay more tax. Well, that depends.
I mean, I don't know exactly, but if you look at it and you look right across the street on the same amount of land is 4 houses.
Yeah.
And it's like once my grandmother passes away and my aunts and uncles and my dad or whatever else they decide to do with the house, there's enough money there between that can be brought in from that land. It's 4 lots basically, right?
Yeah.
So
no, it's good.
Yeah.
I always encourage people to get into real estate.
Yeah.
In any form, if they're already a homeowner, buy an investment property. Why not? I mean, they're going to pay you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, once you got a house and stuff, if you have to fix up stuff, you can get a line of credit or whatever else.
Yeah, nothing really goes. Like, you could look at houses and one day you're going to need a new roof on your own house, right? Yeah. I've never lived in a house long enough to need that, but I mean, then if you have to, there's different types of options, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, the worst thing you want to do is go and spend $10,000 on a new roof or something. Why would you want to do that? You know what I mean? That's a waste of money. Not a waste of money, because you need it, but I mean, it's kind of like that sucks.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things, especially here in town. There's not too much that could actually go wrong with a house. Mostly flooding, or
Yeah.
So like that kind of stuff could happen anywhere, kind of deal.
Yeah.
So like if you get a good enough sump pump or whatever else, like you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Electrical here is one of those other big ones where you might have old wiring or whatever, but that could be costly to replace. But most times, there's not going to be too much wrong.
No.
With stuff here.
No. I mean, a lot of the houses are older. Now you have a lot of new houses too, but I mean, a lot of your houses are 50, 60 years old here. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it's still standing after 50, 60 years, right?
Yeah. So,
how's it gonna fall down now?
Yeah.
It's been up for 50 or 60 years. You know? So, I mean, there's some places you have in the city are prone to flooding and that's the way. Some of it was engineered, I guess. It was misengineered.
Yeah.
And some people are paying there's consequences to that. But you always have insurance, and you like me. I advise my clients to, what I know about a subdivision or a property. I always let my clients know. I have a duty to do that. I take that stuff serious, because why would I want somebody to move into something and I know that something's crappy, and then they're going to come back and say, oh, this agent's no good because he did something, shady to me or whatever. And, so it looks bad at me at the end of the day, and it's not any helpful to you, So why would I don't operate like that. So that's.
What kind of stuff would you have to disclose, like murder?
Well, yeah, you would have to disclose something like that, but I mean, I don't know.
Why do you have to disclose? Why do you have to disclose the murder? This is my question.
Why? Because there's a stigma. It's a stigma, right?
Like bad mojo.
Yeah. There's stigmatization advertised property, it might influence someone's decision to buy that property. You know,
if someone commits suicide, you gotta
supposed to, yeah. If you know,
yeah. I'm not asking for myself. I'm just curious because you always see the movies, right?
Yeah.
So, if it was a meth lab,
no, definitely you'd have to know anything to do with drugs. You would have to disclose that because a major thing with that would be mold. You know.
Oh, it would be mold. That's why you have to disclose it.
Well, I don't know if that's why, but there's health hazards to something to buying a property that's been used for manufacture.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Have you run any? Don't say where they are, but have you run across
any
in Sudbury?
No, not necessarily.
No.
It's odd. Not myself personally. I mean, I've been in some places that after when I got home, I've taken my clothes off and put them in a bag. Honest to God.
Yeah.
You know, but and I could. Oh my God.
Have you come across hoarders?
Yeah, not hoarder to say, but pretty hoarded.
Yeah.
Yeah, horrors.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've showed a couple places there that were pretty disgusting.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Those clothes go to the dry cleaners right away.
Oh yeah.
Or just in a landfill.
No, that depends on how expensive it is.
Yeah.
I'll go bring it to the laundromat, get it washed and dried there.
Not in your washer at your house.
No. But other than that, I mean, it happens. I guess people live like that. What do you do? You know, that's the way it is.
It must be hard to sell a house like that, though. If you're showing off a house and you yourself are going home and feeling like, I feel dirty.
Oh yeah, definitely, right? But then that house will go for a discount, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because people aren't going to pay the type of dollar that they're going to want to get for something like that.
There's certain commercials in town, like when you're just talking about discounts and stuff like that, and I was thinking about what you could do to fix up your house, but there's certain commercials in town, like actual TV commercials, that like totally make me laugh and go, this is stupid and retarded. One, I'm not going to say the names, the couples that sell houses.
Yeah.
Or the spouses that sell houses. I was like, oh my God, it's so corny. Like, I would never use them. I mean, I'm sure they're nice people, but I'm just saying I wouldn't. Like,
yeah, I don't like to talk. I can't really say anything bad about any of the other real estate agents, but my personal thing of marketing wouldn't be to do the same thing that everybody does. You know, like you see a lot of, like I would like to make a commercial, and I think that's going to happen in the near future, but it's not going to be something that's done like every other person has done. It's going to be different. It's going to be fresh, young, new ideas, you know, and that's kind of what we need.
Yeah.
I think that we need that totally in Sudbury, not only in, say, one industry or one type of commercial. I think that Sudbury is growing, and we need to get some young, new, fresh ideas in this city, new ideas across the city in different areas.
It'd be kind of cool if you did. I was just thinking about this. I don't care if you use it or not. If I saw it on TV, I'd be like, "Oh yeah, that's cool, man! Like he totally did that. It's awesome." But you just you see a guy kind of dressed like Hugh Hefner. He's got his like little scarf around, and he's sitting in his house. He's sitting in his chair, and he's like, "Oh," like I kind of feel like a king kind of deal, talking about how he feels good about owning his own home and stuff like that. And he gets up and he takes off his robe, and he's just wearing like normal clothes, and he walks out his front door, and it's just like a regular house, but inside he feels like he's he's the king of his castle, house, right? Yeah, so like if you want to use that, go ahead. I was just thinking like that would be like the coolest thing. He's just like sitting there feeling like Don Draper, like you know what I mean, like just going on, and then he walks out his door and he's like, oh yeah, and it's just a regular house.
Yeah,
it's just, hey, this is how you can feel.
Yeah,
like you don't see a commercial like that here in Sudbury, and I've never seen one like that on TV. So
no.
Go ahead and use it. I don't care.
No, but there's stuff like that, and stuff that in Sudbury you see. There's a lot of complacency in this city when it comes to advertising and marketing, and of a lot of products. And it's you'll have your little jingles and that, but there's nothing really like no big bold coming at you stuff that I'd like to see.
Well, you've heard the podcast with OJ.
Yeah,
he actually directs,
So does he?
Yeah. So I'm sure if you wanted to shoot a commercial, he could probably. I can get you in contact with him. You guys work something out and stuff like that. Yeah. So he can put stuff together.
Yeah, actually, there's a few things I have in mind that I want to do, but I got to see because there's other adventures that I'm currently contemplating in my life right now.
Yeah.
That is going to need some multimedia stuff.
Well, we can talk about after, but I do all little kinds of things here and there.
Yeah.
And stuff. Yeah. I mess around with like pictures. And the video is a little harder, but like OJ is like
Yeah.
So, but yeah, if you know the right people to surround yourself with, there's always stuff to work with.
Yeah, and something modern.
Yeah, but that would be. I think that if I saw a commercial like that, it would make me like, yeah, you know, if I was living in an apartment, well, I am, but
no,
yeah.
Oh yeah,
that's cool, man. Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
But yeah, go ahead, use it if you want. I don't care.
Yeah. No, and it's kind of like the that Cash for Gold guy who's on the TV.
Yeah.
I'm not like that,
Yeah.
you know, but it's different. It's something that nobody else does, you know.
Yeah.
It's not like you're going and you don't hear the violins playing in the background, you know. It's kind of, you know, it's more, I don't know. It's just something different that I guess it depends on your target market, right?
Yeah.
That you want and that you're trying to attract. So
Yeah.
it has to do with that a lot, but
well, in as much as if you shot a commercial like that, or if anybody shot a commercial like that, you're not saying like you have to have like $1 million home, even, like, you know what I mean? Like it's your dream home. This is your house. This is where you live.
Yeah.
This is how it'll make you feel. You're suggesting it through images and not even as much words.
No.
You know what I mean?
No, totally.
And it doesn't have to be something corny at the very end where you're the sofa king.
No.
Right?
No.
You know what I mean? And it's
yeah,
like, you know, if you want to feel like this, give me a call.
Yeah.
It's basically just like that, you know?
Yeah.
If you want to be the king of your domain or the queen of your domain, give me a call.
Yeah.
So
you know, it's funny. I looked on YouTube a few times for real estate commercials that were something kind of like out of the ordinary than what you would see here in Sudbury or in any other city or something. And it's really tough to find some stuff that goes through my brain. Something like that, you know, where it's like there's an innuendo attached to it, you know.
Yeah. Well, the biggest thing now, even like with this podcast, like when I've done podcasts before and stuff like that, and this is the first one where I actually put in a little bit of effort.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sitting here talking to you you're on the couch, I'm on the computer chair talking to you. This sort of old feel kind of Adam Carolla when he first started podcasting and stuff. And I'm not in it to make money.
No.
If I really wanted to, maybe I could apply myself. You know what I mean? To do. But I noticed my site pickups are going up higher and higher every week, so it's good. Like somebody's looking at the site every day, kind of deal, and a lot more than usual. It was kind of funny. Like a couple weeks ago, I was like, "Yeah, I'm going to record the podcast," and you were the first one to go, "Whoa, you got a podcast?" Yeah. It's like I've been putting it on Facebook for like the past like couple months. Like, you know, I wasn't actively doing it every week because it was summer and stuff like that. And now it works out good because yesterday, the podcast that's going up later today was recorded with OJ. This one is coming out like next Friday. Yeah. So if I can build a little bit of a bank or whatever, then I can just keep them coming out, rolling out kind of deal. Yeah. And it's fun to do. It's like, well, I haven't seen you since probably 2003, probably like when I was on the street. Yeah. So it's good to like connect and stuff like that. And but at the same time, just a little bit, like I was sitting there going, hey, I want to do the podcast. I want to do a new podcast. I was like, okay, it's time. I was like, I want it to be something different. I had other names, like one was the Crazy Cubicle. Yeah. It used to be this guy at work used to drive me nuts and used to write about it all the time, like just on a blog. Yeah. And then I turned it into a podcast after. Yeah. And then I had one just called The Rambling Canadian, just talking about random stuff, not really sitting down with anyone. Yeah. And then this one here, I was like, okay, I bought my domain, so like I own anotherpodcast.com. Yeah. And I run it through WordPress, which I don't really care about. Some people say that's bad, whatever, you're running it through another site. It works for me. Yeah. So I bought like space with them. I just host it, boom, done. It downloads, it works out fine. Yeah. So like nowadays, the whole point of me saying that is, if you want, you start up your website. Yeah. You know, Aaron Beaudry Real Estate or whatever, make it easy. Yeah. YouTube channel, whatever. You have an iPhone. You go record the video, upload it, boom, this is the house. Yeah. This is the little things. Or you take a camera, you take your pictures, you upload it on the site. You can almost make yourself a one production thing, and that's what the idea is nowadays, where you have all the stuff. Yeah.
You do it yourself, right? Yeah. Yeah. No, it's good. I like. Actually, I do have a YouTube channel and that, and I'm just starting that.
Yeah. Well, go ahead, pimp yourself.
Well, it's not a YouTube channel. It's just if you go Greater Sudbury Real Estate, you'll see Aaron Beaudry, and then it'll So I just have one listing up there now because I just wanted to test it out.
Yeah.
And I was actually surprised. It got 52 hits in the first 2 days. I was like, whoa. I wouldn't have even considered going on YouTube to see if there's any real estate in Sudbury.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's just a market that's out there that is something that's not really utilized. Maybe. Who knows? We'll have to start. I'm going to investigate that a little bit more. But actually, I'm going to start using it, and I guess it helps when you go to a listing presentation. So it says, well, where do you market your property? Well, it's on YouTube. You can count how many hits it gets. You can see, a web page. Yeah. I'm going to start a web page. I've been kind of leaning towards waiting on it, but it's time now that it has to be done, and it's something that I want to be killer, awesome. So yeah. I don't want like none of these cheesy ones. It's something that I always want is like something you're gonna put your name on it, you're gonna have pride in it, you're gonna want to tweak it. So. Yeah.
Well, I use WordPress just because it's easy to use, and if you understand a little bit, you don't even have to understand a little bit of programming to use it. Then you can just go and use it. The only downside I've only heard from one person, the guy actually is a programmer, is like, it says WordPress everywhere, but I don't care.
Yeah.
But WordPress you can use, you can upload your images, you can do all kinds of things.
Yeah, it's something user friendly that you won't have to call the next door neighbor or whoever it is that designed your website to implement something on it.
Yeah.
You can do it yourself. Yeah. something you can manage yourself is something.
And after we're done this, I'll upload the other one and I'll show you, and I'll insert a YouTube video into the post.
Yeah.
So you can see how it works.
Yeah.
And then you'll be like, oh, that's how easy it is, and then just how simple it is just to do what I do, and then you might be able to do it yourself. Like, it literally cost me $50 for 1 year to run the site with the space for the podcast, and this is number 8.
Yeah.
Podcast number 8. The other one is loaded. I've only used 2% of my upload.
Really?
And if I want more, I could buy more. I could buy unlimited if I wanted. It depends on what you want to do, right?
Right, yeah.
Of course, I'll just start deleting older episodes.
Yeah.
And then just keep
adding new ones.
Yeah, just adding new ones and going on, right? Yeah. But, like, if you want, I can help you out a little bit here and there when I got time. Yeah. And if you want to shoot a commercial and you need a director, or you can put you in contact with OJ and you can talk to OJ, and it's all about connections, right? You make that connection and you get that feel, and then it's like it goes from there. Like, people, I can ask you questions, you can tell me, and then if you don't know, or you set me up with someone, or you ask me something, same thing, right? It goes back and forth. So that's the one good thing about being human, is you can do that, right?
Oh, definitely.
We're not a bunch of school of fish just swimming in the ocean going the same way, right?
Yeah.
We're all doing different things, and we're like, hey, I might need that, or I might need this, right? So, like, I know a guy, he wants to start his own construction business or whatever, right? He's like, can you draw plans? I'm like, yeah. Like, I can do that in my sleep.
Yeah.
I've done it, and I said, I've designed houses in the past, it was Elliott Lake, but
whatever,
it doesn't matter. Or it wasn't Elliott Lake, it was Blind River, actually.
Yeah.
But it did get approved, and all we did was say we'll use current. All I did was give the floor plan. It was pretty simple, actually. Gave the floor plan. This is the top floor, bottom floor, and then we put a disclaimer on the drawing. Said we will use the building specs according to that, whatever.
Yeah.
It got stamped.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Just like that.
Yeah, nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing big, nothing.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be. You don't have to show every fucking joist in the house and say this is where you're running your wiring, or this is where you're putting your box. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. It's what works for you, just like what you said, right? It's what works for you. It's like what works for you if you want to own something, if you want to, later on get rid of it and retire. You want to work 2 jobs, you can do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, it's all about doing that, and then it makes life fun, doesn't it?
Oh, it does, definitely.
Yeah. So did you have fun doing this?
Oh, yeah, guaranteed.
Yeah,
it was good.
Yeah, you come back. It's easy, eh? It's like you just look at me and it's just boom.
Yeah. No, it's good. I enjoy this sort of stuff.
Is this what you thought it was?
Something like that, yeah. Yeah. That's what I kind of had in mind.
We talked about.
I wasn't sure exactly there. I thought I could keep rambling on. I'm a talker, I think.
Yeah, well, you haven't outdone OJ yet. It's about an hour and 39 minutes. And the only reason why I'm ending it is because I have my father-in-law coming and soon with a table and stuff. But I have no problem doing this again.
Oh, definitely.
So
definitely, especially in the future, I'm gonna if I do go a certain direction, I'd like to have. I'd use all of the multimedia that I could.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
Where can people find you? Can they find you on Twitter, right?
Oh, definitely. Bode78 on Twitter. Aaron Beaudry on Facebook. Website will be coming eventually. I sell real estate off Royal LePage. You can always call Royal LePage, have them contact me. I'm available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If I'm not available, I have people that we work as a team. Not a team to say, but as a team.
Like
help
favors?
each other out. Yeah, give
little favors.
Yeah, and then I'll have you in contact with some of them.
Yeah,
definitely. No, definitely. If you need to buy a house or anything.
Yeah. I know there's a majority of people that listen here, but it's starting to spread. So it doesn't.
Yeah. Go in Sudbury, anywhere.
Yeah.
You know, I can always refer other agents in different cities to if there's people in different cities.
Yeah.
I've networked. I've been on different courses in Collingwood, and I've been to Barrie for some courses and stuff, and I've networked and met people that are from all the surrounding areas there, and I have pretty good contacts around Southern Ontario anyways when it comes to real estate agents. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. You're going to check out some Laurentian basketball games. Is it a lot cheaper than a Raptors game?
Yeah, it's always nice to get out with the wife, so we might actually go check some stuff out. It's I always like to support local.
Yeah.
First and foremost.
Yeah.
It's what grows our economy here.
Actually, I was really a couple of weeks ago. I remember asking a question like, "When is the farmers market open?" And you were the one that responded back and said, "I'm sure it's open here or whatever." But that was like the best decision I ever made was go to the farmers market.
Oh yeah,
I don't go now because I don't think I don't go now because I think everything's starting to go a little. It's not growing season right now.
No.
So, but like once this farmers market opens, the vegetables are so awesome. Like they just last so much longer than if you go to a store.
Yeah.
You know, or whatever else. So.
Yeah. No, I like that stuff in Sudbury that we have. It's I always go downtown. I love it. I enjoy the downtown area, and some people are scared to go down there, but I don't. I grew up around downtown, so it's not a big deal to me. I've ate at different restaurants down there.
And you're an advocate for what I see a casino downtown, eh?
Oh, definitely.
That's what you wanted, a real casino, not the
real
one, not like one we have right now.
No, not like one we have at all. A real one, you know, with like I said, a conference center. You know, the ideal place where I would think would be an amazing place to have a casino would be to get rid of the railroad tracks downtown and build a casino conference center, skywalk over to the newly renovated or upgraded Sudbury Arena type thing. Something that we could really stamp and have people come to Sudbury for events. You have your amphitheater, you know, like something professional that people like the big nags can come here because we have a market for it. We support that. We can support someone big like that. And the only place downtown where I can see something like that going and having room to fit would be where the train tracks are. Get rid of that eyesore, get it out of there. And I think that's
the unfortunate part is you need a train yard.
And move it, you know, and it costs money to move, but I mean, at the end of the day, you're bringing in money through property tax revenue, through the casino, through spin-off jobs downtown, to bring the value of the land up downtown, and tourism. You know, we're a major tourist. We call ourselves a tourist city in the north, but we don't really have anything like we have the Science North, you know, but we have like people come to say someone wants to come here and go to a casino. Well, they got to go into the middle of nowhere to go to Slots or Sudbury Downs or whatever.
Yeah.
I go there all the time, you know, myself. But I mean, for somebody who's coming to town, you know, it should be somewhere central where they can, you know, our airport is located crazy. There's hardly any airports. If you ever go to a major city, there's usually an airport within this, not within the city, but within somewhere a lot closer than what ours is. You know what I mean? So there's people want to come to Sudbury. They come here. We need some better hotel infrastructure, maybe closer to downtown. We need a reason for people to go there, you know, and parking will always be an issue, but we do have it pretty good. We don't pay $20 for half an hour of parking like some people do in other cities. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if it's done right, and you know, without any of that red tape, and we let somebody do it right, and if we can do it right, it would be amazing. I'm not saying the government needs to build a casino there. Somebody does though, and it needs to be. We need to have a conference center. We need an upgraded arena. We need to bring people downtown, and it'll grow. You know, if you build it, they will come, and they will.
Yeah. It's hard. It's a hard sell for downtown for many reasons, especially downtown Sudbury when you got, you know, the mall here in New Sudbury with every single store that you can think of. Nobody goes downtown anymore, but they need to start.
But they can.
They can. They can. They need to start looking at, you know, getting stuff downtown, and maybe the city government looking at saying, let's try to put this here.
Yeah.
Let's try to put these things in place. Like I've always said, okay, like I remember when I was a kid going to it wasn't the Rainbow Center, it was downtown
City
mall,
Center.
City Center,
Yeah,
and going there,
every day.
and it was crazy insane.
Yeah.
But then New Sudbury kind of took over everything, and everyone's there now. And it's like I've said to multiple people, this is what I've honestly said. I said, you try to go to the mall in the wintertime to go like for Christmas shopping or whatever else. It's insane. It's hard to park. There's nowhere to go. You know what we need? What? A parking structure. No, we don't need one of those. Yeah, we do.
Oh, yeah,
North Bay
do.
has a parking structure.
Yeah.
And I said, I know where the perfect spot for the parking structure is, and all they have to do is start building it now.
Yeah.
In the summertime.
Yeah.
It'll be done. Like, it'll take a couple months. Start it in the springtime when no one's going to the mall to shop, really.
No.
Okay? There's still enough people there, but you
don't need police to direct traffic.
No. Do you know where the parking structure should be? I'll tell you right now. You might agree with me. This is where it should be. You know where Shoppers Drug Mart is?
Yeah.
It should be right there, right in the whole lot, right by Swiss Chalet. That whole block, right there, should be one parking structure. Going over, you need a ramp to go up inside of it. But once you got all that figured out, you have 6 stories maybe of vehicles, new parking structure. It's not like it wouldn't pay for itself. You don't have to pay taxes on it because it's not really a building, right? It's vertical. Even if you did, you're already paying taxes for the building, for the land it's on, right? You're not having to pay for the extra levels. It's like an apartment building, right? So you have the building itself. The taxes you're paying is for the land, but not the
value.
The value assessed is higher.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, so you pay a little bit more taxes.
You pay a little bit more,
but no, it's something that. But that's the owner of the mall that would have to decide that, unfortunately. But that's what we do need. We need parking structure for that.
Yeah, you need a parking structure with an elevator.
Even in Sudbury, we need to get rid of some of the bylaws that we have are so ridiculous, like the height restriction bylaw, where you can't build things. You know, like things can't be built up. You know, I don't know. I just think there's some areas.
I didn't know about this restriction.
Yeah, there's height restrictions to buildings that you can build. And
really?
Stuff like that. Yeah.
There's not very many tall buildings here, really.
Oh, that's part of the reason. You know?
Really? Yeah. Because I know there was a new apartment building complex that they were trying to get built. Somebody from down south, and it hit all these walls, and no one ever said what it was in the paper.
That could be part of it, you know. But downtown, they need to get rid of that rail yard. Whatever it costs them to get rid of it, they got to do it now because it's going to happen in the next 50 years. It's going to happen, so it's going to be expensive, a lot more expensive in 20 years from now than it is today. So it's got to happen, but they got to have something in place to put there that's going to generate the income to make it that it doesn't cost them anything in the long run. In the long run, you know, like people got to start thinking in the big picture, long run, of what this city can be because we got so much space. We're the same size as like Manhattan, you know. Yeah. We're same size, but we got like a 100th of the people, you know.
Yeah.
Like, in that same size, so kind of have to. I think we need some young people running the city, making it a little bit better.
So you want to run for mayor? This is your ticket?
No, not running for mayor. But there may be something there.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You can try councillor, maybe?
Maybe.
Yeah.
See how the family, if there's a nod from the family.
Yeah, you got to get it. That's 3 jobs.
I know. I'd have to put one at the wayside.
I really think, and this is, people are always going to be unsatisfied with the government.
Oh, guaranteed.
You know,
everyone's unsatisfied with everything.
McGinty's an asshole. Harper's a retard. I personally thought, this is funny, J-Rod was probably the funniest and best thing that happened to the city in a long time.
Yeah.
And but then he left, and I have...
Well, you know what? I voted for him, but I had a qualm in voting for him because I thought, you know, my taxes went up, the roads were crappy, you know. It's not all his fault. It's years of doing, of you know what I mean?
But you know why the roads are crappy, right? And this just recently, right?
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with him or the government. It had to do with the contractors using
Yeah, but
so
substandard
material or whatever else, right?
Yeah.
So it, but it got allowed, right?
It got allowed, right?
So.
And we were getting, there's small businesses in this community that spend over $40,000 a year in property taxes, which is insane. So like, that's one full time or like 3-4 part time jobs, that they pay for in taxes alone in the city. Like that's I don't know, it's crazy. And we don't have any service that we should have for the money we pay.
Yeah, a long time ago, because I can't use the other words because it cost me $1. But a long time ago, the mining companies in town used rail.
Yeah.
Now we use trucks.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm assuming that they should pay a lot more if they are paying. They should pay more for the use of the road because they're the ones kind of destroying the road at the end of the day.
No, and you know what? They should pay a road tax, and everyone says, "Oh, you're going to tax them. They're going to cut jobs and everything," and that's not going to happen. But they should be, because at the end of the day, we're paying for they're using the roads to make their company money, and we're paying for them to do that because of the destroying. I mean, it could be something that's fair. Like, I'm not an advocate for higher taxes.
No.
But I mean, that's something that has to be. We shouldn't be paying for them to do that. And you know what? Rail was used before, and maybe it should be used now, but they don't do it because they don't have to upgrade. Yeah. So now we got to pay for them to do it, right?
Yeah.
We got to pay for the roads to be upgraded and constantly maintained. And the city does construction at such a terrible time of the day. They do it in the middle of the day, in the middle of summer when everyone's
they really need to work on that.
They get that going at night. They
Yep.
need 24-hour construction on major arteries in the city, and that has to be done. It keeps people moving. It shouldn't take an hour to go from the south end to the new Sudbury. It should take 20 minutes. If that. It's got to be free moving. We need to get people to where they need to go. We need to build a lot of things in the city need to be done.
One thing I'm glad is that they're putting to a vote next election about the shopping hours.
Yeah.
I'm more for the Boxing Day stuff because people are leaving town and going Boxing Day shopping.
Well, I don't really think. You know what? I've advocated for not having the extended store hours in the past, but the way I look at it is, it's got to be, if you're gonna have, just one day, just open it all up, or, I'm glad it's going to a referendum. I wouldn't want to be the one that, like, you shouldn't say I wouldn't want to be the one making that decision, but it would be, it's what the people want, in the city. If that's what they want, then that's how it should be. They're the one paying the taxes. But at the end of the day, is it going to cost the city money to keep things open? Because we got to police, we got to have people on call for those days, right? There's going to be an increase in staff on those days if we have that. So can we afford that as a city? And if we can, and the benefits are there to bring it in, there's a good possibility that why not have it every day then? Why just limit it? Why say, okay, well, we can have Boxing Day shopping, but we can't have Victoria Day shopping? Why not? Why not just open it straight up? And you're the business owner, you want to be able to open up your store on Christmas. Well, you know what? We're a multicultural city. Some people don't even associate Christmas with, we should open it all up. Not just Boxing Day, or not just, like, it sucks to be the person that has to go to work during that time. But, yeah.
Yeah, well, I know, I'm a big, my wife, like I said, works at Tim Hortons.
Yeah.
So she gets off Christmas Eve and Christmas.
Yeah.
But on Boxing Day, there's a big line of angry customers that are waiting for their coffee, right?
Oh, definitely.
But if you were to say, the way I look at it is okay, if no stores can be open Boxing Day because it's supposed to be family Christmas or whatever, like
then why are certain stores allowed?
Then
right?
why is Tim Hortons expected to be open?
No, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And that coming from the city is so Tim Hortons minded, basically, right?
Yeah.
You would have more angry people at the thought of not having Tim Hortons open on Boxing Day than if the mall were to open later.
Or you know, and it doesn't really like the mall it being closed on Boxing. You still get the Boxing Day sales. They're just a day later, and the people get to go in there and spend an extra day with their family, which is good. But on the other hand, I mean, it is that person's business if they want to open up. But then we can't just limit it to one day. It should be you want to be open, then open.
Yeah.
You know, don't half open. You know, we're gonna be half open for 360 days a year.
Yeah.
This is 5 days. Well, you know what? If you want it to be open, then open it up 365 days a year. You know, they want to go 24 hours a day some places. Well, businesses aren't going to open 24 hours a day if it's going to cost them money.
No.
You know what I mean? So why would they do it if it's going to cost them money? They're not going to. So do it if they want. I don't know. It sucks to work night shift. I've done it. It sucks, you know, but I mean, at the end of the day, well, I don't have to. I can make a choice. I can say I don't want to work night shift anymore. I'm not going to work there. You know? Yeah. It's something I could do. It's, you know, no one's pointing a gun at me saying you have to go work there night shift.
No.
You know, so.
The only thing I see is that when you have places like, I know the Sioux has one, North Bay has one, a 24-hour grocery store.
Yeah.
Might be useful here.
Well, there's a lot of shift workers. It probably would be really useful.
It would be really useful here.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not saying keep stores open. Like, you let them all close at 9 still, like normal, but have a couple stores, like a grocery store, like the Superstore. I know if they could be open 24 hours a day, they would be open 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
So,
why not? You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. I know when I was in college, I'd want to go to the grocery store after the bar. You know what I mean? Maybe things change as you get older, but I'm not the one that's going to be going there at midnight. So
yeah.
It's not. Some people will, and if the business itself sees a demand for it, really, as long as it doesn't cost the taxpayers money. You know, if it's going to cost us money, or we're not going to see the benefits of it, then maybe we shouldn't do it. But if it's not going to cost us money, then as a taxpayer, then let them do what they got to do. I mean, it's not going to. No one in the right mind is going to stay open 24 hours a day if it costs them 3 times as much or twice as much to stay open at night with no revenue coming in. They just won't open. They'll stay open during the day.
Yeah.
You know, or regular times.
Yeah. Well, with that cue,
it's not rambling a little bit.
No, the rambling is fine. It's the guy on the Toro outside the window mowing the grass on a Sunday afternoon because this is when he can finally fucking get to it. That's ending everything. Oh, you did.
That's cool.
It's 2 hours, just like OJ. You're pretty good here. I like that.
That's crazy.
We talked about.
It didn't really. It didn't sound like 2 hours.
No, well, it's
almost good.
It's almost 12. It's pretty good.
Yeah. Well, it's fun. I like.
And your wife's like, when's this guy coming home?
Oh, she doesn't worry about that.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say she doesn't know.
She doesn't know.
She doesn't know where I am
when I left.
She doesn't know where I am.
Yeah.
I got the tweet said James waiting for me, so I left.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was fun. People look you up on Twitter, you know, and all that other stuff.
I love social media.
Yeah,
it's great.
Yeah, well, I did something today. I'll show you in a few minutes to OJ. Maybe I'll do the same for you, and then keep having you back and talking about things.
Yeah, whatever. That's fun.
Yeah.
If I have, obviously, I have 2 jobs and everything. And
it's, you got time.
Busy, but I definitely love doing stuff like that. And now you've seen a little bit of other stuff that maybe we can talk about.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
That's the end of the show. Bye.
Thanks for listening, everyone. It means the world to me. It really does. Ehnotherpodcast.com. You can always find everything that you need for the podcast. There's going to be photos, videos. There's a video YouTube channel that will be going up very shortly. More details on that later. It'll probably be called Ehnother Podcast. So follow us on Twitter, ehnotherpodcast.com at Twitter, whatever. Thanks for listening. Bye.